Hi, everybody. Todd Nash, Senate District 29. Um, there's a chalkboard up here in Salem that says there's 65 days left until Oregons are safe. And so that's how many days are left in this session. We're winding down. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Um, it is not quite as busy as it has been, but we are seeing things shift back and forth between chambers, and it's still a fairly rapid pace. Going to go through a few bills here that are going to be coming up. The first one is kind of a lighthearted one, and it is House Bill 3141. Representative Vicky Breeze Iverson from Central Oregon. She was really put this in play, and it is to recognize farmers and ranchers. And so the third Tuesday of each March will be declared Farmer and Rancher Day here at the Capitol. And uh, Representative Iverson was kind enough to encourage me to sign on as a chief sponsor. So I've testified on it on its way through. That'll be coming to the Senate floor. I look forward to carrying that one. I don't see any need for opposition on that. It'll probably sail right through. Had some success with Senate Bill 761, and that's the Walla Walla Basin bill I've talked about before. And that's a good project there. That's going to allow them to put some water in stream for leasing while still irrigating. And they have perennial crops there like orchards and vineyards. Most in-stream leasing requires your ground to go fallow. So if you have an annual crop like wheat, it might make sense to do that occasionally to lease some water back in stream. For them, it came through a different avenue where they were able to get more efficient with some of their water systems there and turn on and off. And so that was a change in policy. Carried that on the floor, and that went through um, a unanimous vote off the Senate floor. Senate Bill 777 is getting its first hearing over on the House side on Wednesday. So next Wednesday, 8 o'clock in the morning, the House Committee on Natural Resources, and look forward to good testimony there, and hopefully we move that out of committee shortly after, and we see that hit the House floor and onto the governor's desk. And um, I'm really hopeful for that we're going to have some better policy there for wolf compensation. Getting reports back from district that quite a few guys are getting hit right now. It's very concerning. And I will tell you folks, if it was the difference between better policies that allowed us to have more, more and better management, we would take that over compensation any day. But we're not in an area where that's going to happen anytime soon. So this is our fallback, and I'm really proud to advocate for this right now at this point in history. Senate Bill 781, I didn't think that we were going to get a hearing on this one. This is a bill that has to do with kind of a thorny issue, um, and it has to do with credit unions buying out banks and then taking over um, what is their clientele. Um, and this one came to me by way of some of the banking institutes that were concerned seeing a trend in credit unions buying community banks and throughout Oregon. And like I said, I didn't think this was going to get a hearing. Here, just in the last couple of weeks, it was announced that Lewis and Clark Bank down here, mostly in the Willamette Valley, was purchased by a credit union. And so it heightened this subject matter again. There's going to be a hearing on it, and I'm glad. This should be aired out. Credit unions have some things that they can do that banks can't, and vice versa. And one of the main issues is that credit unions don't have the same tax burdens that banks do. And so, anyway, I am looking forward to hearing that out and everybody having their day in court. We'll see where this actually goes in the end. It's not going to change what has already taken place. I want to make that very clear. It just is going to take a look at what we do into the future when these situations come up. Senate Bill 784, that was the one that allowed for those dual credits. So students that were participating in some of the natural resource things in high school, they could get credit in both high school and toward college. And so forestry, farming, ranching, all would actually lend credit toward um, those curricula and good bill. And that goes on to the House now. And it's got a hearing scheduled, looking very sharp, like it's going to get all the way across. Senate Bill 1061 talked about this at length, and it was scheduled for a hearing, or excuse me, for a floor session twice this week, and it just never happened. Folks, we had a tragedy down here in the Capitol, and long-serving Senator Aaron Woods passed away. And Aaron was beloved by a lot of people here. Um, he was a veteran, and he served in the Army, and then he also worked in some of the high tech industry in California before moving up here. And his family was here this week. It was very touching. He served until he couldn't serve, and he passed away while he was still a sitting senator, and uh, uh, be missed by a lot of people here. I regret not getting to know him better. His office was two doors down from mine. When what I could tell, he was just a stellar gentleman, and he will be missed. A lot of people really appreciated his statesmanship, and but it did put a delay on the reading and passage of a lot of bills, and that's a small price to pay for honoring a man that served very well for a long time. With that, I'm going to wrap this up this week. Um, we we look forward to hearing from you, to serving you, and we'll visit with you next week. Bye.